I see that the tradition of turning movies into crap video games is alive and well. Here's Lethal Weapon on the NES. In case you didn't know, it's based on the action series starring Mel Gibson and Danny Glover. And it's a no-brainer that it got turned into a beat-em-up. And what a beat-em-up it is. This is one of the most basic fighters I've ever had the misfortune of playing. One button makes you jump, the other attack. And that's it. Seriously, that's it. Now, I know a lot of the early side-scrolling beat-em-ups have few moves to choose from, but this is pathetically simple. The only way of varying your attacks is by using select, and what this does is change from hand-to-hand combat to using your gun, providing that you have enough bullets. I would, however, advise against using the gun, because it does piss-poor damage. Believe it or not, kicking or punching enemies brings them down in fewer hits than actually shooting at them. How unrealistic is that? When I track down the assholes at Ocean to exact my revenge for creating this abomination, I will give them a choice. You can either get punched in the face or shot with an Uzi. I wonder if they still believe that a slap in the chops is more lethal than a bullet. You can use both Roger and Martin through the game's 9 stages. To switch between the two, you have to walk off the left-hand side of the screen. At first glance, apart from looks, there's very little difference between them. But after playing for a while, I noticed that Martin jumps better. Roger is the only one of the two that can pick up boxes, and you can throw these two enemies to inflict massive damage. The main reason for switching between the two, though, is to avoid death. If one of the guys is low on health, change them around. And as a bonus, whilst he's off screen, he'll get back some of the health he lost. Graphically, this game is a disgrace. The NES is capable of much better than this. Check out that walking animation, it's laughably bad. I've seen bricks move more fluidly than this. The backgrounds also deserve a special mention. Check out this seamless transition. The backdrop is clearly divided by a straight line. 1 minute you're in the forest, the next you're... what's this? Egypt? Whoops, looks like you took a wrong turn somewhere, Braveheart. Scotland is that-a-way. The enemy AI is another area where the game is severely lacking. If you don't bother to move, the enemies will approach you at a snail's pace, seemingly scared of the ass-kicking you're about to unleash upon them. Boss fights, like this one against a chubby power walker, boil down to bashing the buttons and hoping for the best. Talking about fights, check out this clip where you face a helicopter. You can bring it down by tossing one of the grenades it drops, but why bother? One flying kick gets the job done. That's right, you can dispatch a helicopter by kicking it. That has to be one of the most what the fuck moments I've ever experienced in a game. The game's biggest flaw, though, is how boring it is. You just do the same things over and over and over. All these fights are the same, and the only reason the later levels are harder are because the enemies will deal more damage and take more hits to kill. There's no variation whatsoever. Everything you encounter, you can overcome it by hitting it. Walls, even disarming bombs. Now, should I cut the red wire or the blue wire? What did they teach me at the police academy? Duh! Oh yes, now I remember. Just hit it. So, time for a rating. And I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10. Believe it or not, it's not the worst game I've played. It's not even the worst movie-based game out there. But it's still well below average. If you have time to kill, play something else. Or watch one of the Lethal Weapon films. Well, bye all. Take care.